Hi, everybody. I'm here with James Whitelock, and we're talking about recruiter enablement. James, thanks for joining me. Give us a quick intro.
So my name is James Whitelock. I'm the managing director of ThinkinCircles. We're a marketing agency for the recruiter space. So we work with recruitment agencies, we work with in-house, we do recruitment marketing, EVP, employer branding, all that kind of cool stuff. All right, that's what we get. That's what we get our fingertips into.
Yep, great. Okay, more than your fingertips, actually. I don't mean that. I don't mean that in any kind of a rude way.
Yeah.
So, right. Let's talk about recruiter enablement then. So, what is this? How would you describe it?
Well, for us, right, it's just having the stuff you need at your fingertips, right? As a marketeer, we are the worst at having stuff all over the place, right? So as a marketer, you've got your designs in Canva, you've got designs in Adobe, you've got all these different disparate kind of places where you're keeping stuff, right? And then at some point you need to share that with your clients, and then they need to keep it somewhere, right? So our clients are obviously recruiters. So and we more and more often are we being asked that we have to give the recruiters on the front line stuff that they need to then adapt themselves, right? Because they can't be relying on marketing to just kind of be adding a new tagline in there or a little line in there, right? So for me, and this recruiter enablement really is just kind of having the stuff that recruiters need from a marketing perspective, all those assets available to them when they need it at the right time, without having to kind of literally call on marketing, which is weird coming from a marketeer, right? Because we want to be there all the time, but we just can't be. But we want everything to be on brand, on message, and designed beautifully. But we want to be able to kind of like then just kind of let the recruiters do that themselves, and having somewhere where that is all kept, right, and it is all managed, and it's clear and it's concise. And that's not just some like the kind of marketing assets. It's everything that they need to do their job, which marketing is, I would say, a big part of, but recruiters might say slightly differently. But that's what it is. It's enabling to have that stuff all at their fingertips. That's how we see it, right? We want to be the enablers for the enablement, if you see it that way.
Yes. So I remember a few years ago during lockdown, you and I were in a recruitment marketers WhatsApp group together, and every day I would see people like looking for ideas from each other around how they can stop recruiters coming to them all the time, asking them to review their email copy and to make this look sexy or make that look pretty
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. I mean,
yeah,
such like real basic tasks around make that color a bit different or like change
yeah.
the font on that. So that's a problem that still persists, is it?
Yeah, so that I mean, there's a partly an attitudinal thing of treating the marketing department like the colouring in department, but there is a certain amount of what marketeers do best isn't that sort of frontline stuff that recruiters need, right? So I think there needs to be this kind of to enable the recruiters to do their job better and to stay on brand is that we need something like that. And in all honesty, you've kind of got Canva does bits of that, right? You can kind of template it and you can kind of lock bits down, right? But again, what that means is you've kind of still got just one other thing that a recruiter probably has to kind of manage or learn or log into, which we don't necessarily want them doing, right? We want it all kind of in one place, which traditionally has been difficult. And I think that's where some of these problems are coming from that you've kind of mentioned. So, the email copy, the templates for that, the designs, I don't know, the brand guidelines, all neatly kept somewhere where someone could kind of reference it at the point of need as well.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Because as marketeers, we don't know exactly when the recruiters are going to do this. They're there to manage their own day, not us to manage their day. So we don't want them necessarily kind of coming to us. We want to be asked 4 times a day to do almost the same thing, right? That's not what the marketing department's there to do, right? So enabling them to have control over some of those processes, and we get left to almost do the bigger stuff, which really marketing in recruitment should be. Marketing recruitment is actually quite a difficult job, right?
Yeah.
We are
Very.
B2B, B2C, employer branders. We do a bit of everything, right? So it's actually quite a technical job that is pretty underrated. However, if we can kind of allow the recruiters who are kind of basically our end clients to do some of that stuff without us having to kind of be involved all the time, or maybe just sense check some of it, I think that is where we want to kind of get to.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Okay, let's talk a little bit more generally about like recruitment marketing and what's your sort of what's going on? What are the most important things, or what are the most regular things that you're being asked about in 2023?
Well, I tell you, there's a couple of things. The main thing that we've said is that people are starting to take it more seriously. Okay,
Great, good.
since almost since lockdown, almost since we went kind of virtual and working remotely, when the mindset has changed around recruitment marketing, that it is now part of those processes within the recruitment space. Whether you're you're a recruitment agency, a staffing agency, or whether you're in house, the how serious it's now taken has just gone up a level over the last kind of few years, and that just continues to grow, and that's reflected in one, just the amount of businesses like mine that are out there, because there's just the volume of work now, and the type of work that we're getting in, and the things that we're being asked to do and get involved with. More and more are we getting asked from a more strategic point of view to be involved, to be involved very high level kind of discussions within businesses, small businesses, large businesses, whatever, and to bring marketing into the process earlier on, as opposed to, like we've joking about the colouring in department. But there still is a bit of that, but there's definitely this serious that recruitment marketing is a thing now, right? And it is being taken way more seriously than it ever has done before. It isn't just around producing some nice sales assets. It's strategically, how do we kind of do that for our business? If we are an in-house business, right, what does the recruitment marketing, what does the talent acquisition, what does the employer branding, how does the EVP work, how does all this tie together? And that's where the recruitment marketeer is playing a role within the agencies. You actually then leading marketing departments within these agencies, as opposed and within even smaller and smaller staffing agencies. So on our books, we've got businesses from one or two man, all the way up to 50, 60, 100, because it's just taken way more seriously than it ever has been. That, I think, is the biggest change that I've seen over the last kind of few years, as opposed to whether we're now all using AI or whatever that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is. Just the seriousness that people have kind of about the whole kind of process.
Well, that's music to my ears. You and I have agreed on a lot of this stuff over like a lot of years now, and so I've maintained for a long time that a typical recruitment team needs to have X number of marketers for every recruiters. And so I think a team of 100 people who are between them trying to get jobs filled. I would expect there to be at least 15 of those whose job is exclusively building the pipeline, filling the pipeline, nurturing the pipeline, and having like recruiters do the last mile
Yeah.
rather than everybody trying to like talk to strangers. And so that brings me on to the concept of marketing automation, because I know that you're involved in this area.
Mhm.
And there's a company you're involved with in this space. If you want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that and what's going on in this area.
Yeah, so I'm an advisor to a business called Candidate Hub, run by Bradley DePaolo out of Canada, and yeah, and it is it's kind of, it takes some of that B2B philosophy around kind of marketing and bring it into the in-house kind of recruitment kind of space. Things like lead scoring and kind of data analytics and careful kind of profiling and really kind of data driven personalization. All those kind of things are now kind of wrapped up in this kind of product. And what it does, it just allows kind of in-house teams to really understand what their potential talent is doing, right, when they're doing it, and to react to that. Basically, that's how I would probably describe it as succinctly as I can.
Yeah. Great. Only one more thing.
Yes.
So I just want to be clear, like behind you, that's Lando's palace in the sky, right? The city in the clouds, is it?
That is Bespin. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that is.
Is it? Is that what it's called? Bespin? Because I was getting right.
Bespin.
Is that what it's called? I didn't know that's. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I didn't know it was called Bespin. Okay.
Yeah. So the story behind it, I picked that up when I was in Orlando in like 19 '89 or something. So and
You
because
were
actually,
12.
so it was literally it was pretty young, but that
I know,
was
because you're the same
uh,
age as me.
exactly. But actually, it has Star Tours on it, which was the old what they used to call Star Wars at Disney in Orlando. It used to
Star
be called Star
Tours.
Tours, and
Yeah.
that's a Star Tour. You can get replicas of that now. You still get it in there, but it's now got the Star Wars logo on. But that's a Star Tours picture.
Wow. Very
Yeah,
cool. All
yeah,
right. That's why I like talking to you. I always learn about marketing, and sometimes I learn about other things as well.
yeah.
James, great to see you. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolute pleasure. Cheers.